Hey everybody, welcome to our sponsor showcase spectacular. I'm Dr. Nacho. This is the second half. I've done an outfit change like it is the Nacho Mr. America pageant, and we're going to meet some awesome key resources and sponsors that will help you decrease stress, increase patient-centered production, and make you a happier dentist and human. You just saw some great clips of patients from my office that we did implant overdentures for. Just yesterday, I was in my office going over a menu of treatment options for a patient who doesn't have any upper teeth. And that patient selected an implant overdenture case, which I'm excited to get started. These cases are profit-driven, patient-driven, team-driven, fun-driven. It's okay to have fun, be profitable, be productive at the same time. I would love to teach you more about how to get started on this journey. And we have so many prizes during this show. You can do it by texting PLACE, text PLACE to 215-543-6454 and join one of our upcoming CE on TV shows for free on how to start the journey to placing your own implants. Start planning cases like this. Show's totally free. If you can't make it live, register anyway. We'll send you access to the recording for 30 days. That will go into our next show on case acceptance. If you text CHIPS to 215-543-6454, text CHIPS to 215-543-6454, you're going to get an opportunity to get a discount code to our next course. Now, this afternoon, I want to mention somebody special before we get started. Dr. Mark Costas is my friend, collaborator, dad who's in much better shape than me, but I'm trying to get in shape like him. So he has just done his 1,000th podcast episode. I don't want to one-up him on National Guacamole Day, but I've been eating nachos for 1,000 straight days. But this is my look like Mark Costas portion. Ariel's going to have the rest. We're socially distancing in studio, but happy National Guacamole Day to you. So check out Mark's awesome podcast. I'm going to celebrate by doing 1,000 bicep curls with this very heavy weight during the show. The Dentalpreneur is one of the best podcasts out there. I've been on it a couple times. One of my shows from the 2018 Dental Success Summit, I think it's episode 310 and 311 on practice transitions there. So check it out. Mark has amazing guests on his show. So congratulations to Mark on his 1,000th episode. So you are going to meet amazing key resources and sponsors. You're going to learn about stuff you didn't even know existed. And you are going to get a $150 free CE course for watching in on Zoom. You can get one on our high-level restorative course, Dr. Pasquale Venuti, or our practice management 10-hour C, 7 hours on restorative, 10 hours on practice management. Your choice. All you have to do is watch in on Zoom and you'll get it as a souvenir. So if you're watching on Facebook Live, watching on Instagram, join us on Nacho Zoom TV to watch in. So I'm going to bring you a plate of nacho toppings of our key resources and sponsors. And my awesome team will have our first one up for me. You can start your video for our first key resource and sponsor whenever you're ready. While they're starting their video, I want to share that my team has officially named me this World's Best Boss. So I have this mug, so that means it's official. And okay, perfect. And we're going to have Dr. Hallis from Sterngold. Awesome. So we are going to learn so many different things that are out there in the dentistry space. Sterngold has been an awesome key resource, collaborator, sponsor of what we do. Make a lot of amazing products. Their team is great. We're lucky to have Dr. Hallis here with us. Dr. Hallis, thanks for being on the show with us. Share with us what you do and how you guys help dentists.
Thank you for having me. Coming from Marquette, Michigan today. We have 3 offices up in Marquette, Escanaba, and Green Bay. So I have kind of a lot of windshield time for doing dentistry across almost 400 miles.
Wow.
Between our offices.
What do you listen to on those drives? Do you a podcast or?
You know, it's actually a lot of thinking time, kind of like what you said about treatment planning, team decisions. I have a partner that I got to talk to. I got other referring dentists. So it actually gives you alone time to do dentistry.
I like that. Yeah, alone time. You're just centered. See, I'm getting myself centered. So that's awesome. I said,
you just got to dodge deer right now. They're on the move. You know, it's awesome. A little hostile environment. So, but no, I can't. We can't complain.
Awesome. What do you do with Sterngold, and how does what you do with them help our dentisting community?
So I'm a trained prosthodontist with a surgical and restorative background. I did my training at UIC. I graduated in 2010 and then came out. And then through a bunch of different lectures I had previously done, I ended up meeting Gordon with Sterngold, and he asked for some collaboration. So currently what we're working on is it's releasing next week is their new streamlined surgical kit that tapers to the pure and the true implant. They have new packaging coming out that we've worked on that includes basically all parts included. So you get your implant, you get all of your restorative components, whether you're doing single tooth or an overdenture. They have their stern snap, they have their locator partnership now. So there's a lot in the works right now in
Also, I
order to help
appreciate you sharing
kind
this.
of give.
I want to ask you a little more about your dentisting life as a superhero. But I just want you to know to text Stern to 55444. You'll find out more about our key resource and sponsor. So dental implants is a huge part of what we do. And I have a surgical prosthodontist, really amazing guy, graduated a few years ago from UConn, who's in our practice. And I see the value of planning implants yourself, restoring them, also collaborating when that's necessary. Tell us a little bit about, your dentisting life with placing and restoring implants on your own. What's a typical day look like for you?
There's not a day that goes by that we're not either working with our oral surgeon or placing implants in our practice. Each office has CT scanners. I mean, they're going daily. It's the future. I mean, implants are truly life-changing for patients, kind of like what you showed with the overdenture. I mean, taking a basic denture, increasing the retention and the stability to give a patient more comfort and confidence to actually eat peanuts is game-changing.
Yeah,
I mean, it's game-changing.
I have to say, you were a prosthodontist, signed up to be one of our superhero dentists. But how many times, Dr. Hallis, when did you graduate dental school? From dental school?
Dental school 07, pros 2010.
So in 10 years, how many times has a patient leapt up from the chair after you've done a class 2 on 14 and said, thank you for all the care that you put into this class 2? I'm still waiting, but maybe that's happened to you.
We don't even do composites. They're overrated.
But dental implants are a fun part that's good for the patient, the team, you, and profit driven. It changes people's lives. What people say to me is, I should have done this sooner. It's all about how do you get the patient started on this journey, whether you're referring and having someone else place them. I know dentists love details, Dr. Hallis, and you're here as this superhero prosthodontist who places implants. From the Stern Gold line, which implants are you using for which situation?
So we use the True in our system in our office, primarily because I use Nobel BioCare in my office, and I use the Stern Gold True. They have the same compatibility head, so the restorative components are the same. But not everybody can afford all of our fees. So it allows us to have a different value in our practice. And it also gives us a different expanded line, especially, we do a lot of dentures. I get a ton of referrals from general dentists doing dentures. Nobody really likes doing dentures, but doing a mandibular overdenture for a patient, that's game changing. Yeah. I mean, you increase their biting force 50, 60%. So if you have a value-based system that allows us to do this in an affordable and streamlined manner, that's a no-brainer.
And that's such an important point what you shared, is that I really don't like our dental school training where they teach you one thing's great and the other thing stinks. I mean, you just talked about 2 different implants that you use for 2 different scenarios, much like if you go and get a regular margarita and maybe one with top shelf tequila. They're both good, but maybe somebody wants to invest in this, and we should say we have good and great. I mean, I talk about maintaining teeth as tacos, doing implants as nachos. Only us dentists, Dr. Hallis, could argue over a root canal and crown that works out well 9 out of 10 times, and an implant that works out 9 out of 10 times. If our patients heard us arguing, they'd be like, you guys have problems. We'd be like, I know, we do have problems. We offer 2 great solutions, so I appreciate you sharing that with us. One of the things I could add value here, and maybe even you can use, is that when patients say to me, why do I need implants for my overdenture, for my denture? I say dentures without implants are for smiling, not chewing. So if you want to smile and be at your granddaughter's play and look like you have teeth, great. If you want to go to the after party and eat the chicken parm, that denture's not doing. They really get that. Dentures without implants are for smiling and not chewing. And that's a point. So I appreciate you sharing with us. To reach out to Stern Gold and learn more, just text Stern to 55444. Their team with Gordon and Helga are great. We've had some great shares here. Before we let you go back to your patients, Dr. Hallis, anything else you'd like to share with us about Stern Gold, your life, guacamole, nachos, anything like that?
As I see it, kind of what you said is there's a good system, right? And then there's a great system, but there's a medium. And truly figuring out where those systems meet for the patient to give them value is truly what we need to do. And that's what the Stern Gold does in our office, is it gives us a value that we can't achieve with certain things, and change that patient's daily routine, allow them to eat.
It's true. We like to go to restaurants that have multiple toppings, so we just have multiple options. We don't have to be so dramatic about it. How it fits into your business model, your patient flow production. So I appreciate you sharing about that. Enjoyed getting to know Stern Gold and what they offer. We appreciate you sharing about their implant systems. What are you doing next after this show?
we are putting in some implants.
Oh, nice. Right. See, that's the big reveal, you know, they get the implant and they start chewing away. So
Exactly.
I'm sure you're going to make a patient happy, and thanks for being on here, and have a great rest of the day.
Awesome. Have a good day. Nice meeting you.
Thanks, Dr. House. Nice meeting you too. So that was one of my favorite topics or toppings, dental implants, life-changing. I'm a big fan of the show Game of Thrones. Not a big fan of the ending. Still not over it. Don't know if I'm ever going to be over it. But they had the White Walkers coming to invade. I think, what are the White Walkers of dentistry? Declining insurance reimbursement. We're being paid less for the same work. Not super fun. Huge dental school debt. A debilitated dental school experience. The 3Ds there. How can we help fight that? Dental implants. Dental implants, we replace one tooth, overdentures. They're fun. They're profitable. Patients thank you for them. They share, like I shared with my patient testimonial. You can chew pistachios while he watches the Patriots. While I hope the Patriots lose while he's watching them, he can watch the Patriots, eat pistachios, and have a better life. It's life-changing for us. So we're going to bring up our next key resource and sponsor to share with us what they do to help dentists be happier and more productive. And we have the awesome Kimberly Pedros, one of my favorite people in the denting world. She is super positive. And Kimberly, what do you do on a day-to-day basis to help dentists in their practices?
I think I've lost you a little bit here. There we go. Hi, I hear you now. How is everyone? Good to be here today.
We're doing great. There's only 2 million people watching it. It's one of our smaller shows. Usually we have 10 million, but we wanted to share about what your company does, PDS, to help dentists improve their practices, improve their practice lives. What's out there for them? What are you guys doing on a day-to-day basis?
I thought I'd tell a story today too,
Sure.
but what we focus on is really technology, especially the cone beam. So about patient in her 30s, some pain on tooth number 6, goes to the general dentist, speaks to the dentist, he takes a PA, looks at the pan, doesn't see anything wrong. Suggests maybe we could do endo, maybe you could have the tooth removed. Let's just do some bite adjustments. Patient goes back a couple, maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks later, more adjustments. Goes to the endodontist, he looks, why don't we do a root canal? Patient decides, no, I don't want to go that route. Goes to the oral surgeon looks at the pan, looks at the PAs, isn't sure, says we can take it out. Patient goes to ENT. ENT says, I don't think it's sinus, but pain is increasing. Now we're probably at 8, 9 months. Patient never had a cone beam taken. Jeez. She went to the neurologist. Neurologist found a good sized tumor on that trigeminal nerve.
Jeez.
That patient is actually me.
Wow, Kimberly.
So I went ahead and I had that tumor out. All is great. I strongly feel though, if I had a cone beam taken, that tumor wouldn't have grown so much. I actually don't have any feeling on this side of my face. Jeez. The doctors that I saw did the best they could with what they had. But if I had a cone beam taken with a large field of view, I really feel like we would have found it a lot sooner. So that's how I got into cone beams. And that's why I'm so passionate about them.
And I would just like to pause it. Thank you for sharing your authentic story. And we had Dr. Lou Graham on Nachos CE on TV sharing about how he incorporates CBCT into his diagnosis and his initial patient visits. And I think, you know, we should be excited that we have this technology that tells us more. And what are you seeing? You know, tell us a little bit about your company, how people can get a CBCT from you, and what you're seeing in the space. Who are getting them? Is it just specialists? Is it general dentists too? Who's incorporating this into their offices?
I'm seeing actually everyone incorporating into their office. I worked with a doctor about a year ago who was going to start with 6 operatories and no cone beam. I talked to him about starting with 2 operatories and a cone beam. He is now at $1 million a year, if not more, because he's using that cone beam and he's doing implants. He's a general dentist. He is now going to be adding more operatories on, but he started slow. So professional dental services sells and repairs equipment here in the state of Arizona. However, for cone beam, I sell throughout the United States.
That's awesome. And we have an awesome offer from you. If you text CBCT to 55444, you will get a information on how getting started. We can also share how to get Dr. Lou Graham's CE on TV show, because that was outstanding. And what I think is really, in talking with you, Kimberly, and even, you being an awesome sponsor of Nachos, we have a CBCT in our office. But even just in the past few months of us connecting, I've started thinking about using it for more, because I was a little bit narrow focused on the just implants, right? Use it for implants.
Sure.
But you talked about Panorexes, and for years, my dad was a dentist. Panorexes showed you a lot of stuff. So CBCTs are the new version of that. It might show you a trigeminal neuralgia tumor. It might show you an endo that's causing a problem that doesn't look like it's causing a problem. So really, it's an opportunity to, see more, do more, diagnose more, help patients more. So is that where you're seeing general dentists are getting into using it, even if they're not interested in placing implants?
That's correct. I even see general dentists using it for airway.
Yeah.
They may not want to treat airway, but they show the patient and explain, here is the software. Here's where it shows that I'm concerned with your airway. This is why you're not sleeping well. This is why you're not snoring. They may just say, go ahead and see your ENT, have them have a look. When you're looking at the whole body and you're concerned with your patient, not just on their teeth, they definitely come back to you, and general dentists are seeing that.
Yeah, and I think that's so important as practitioners, that we can, offer our patients really an enhanced way of diagnosing things. You walk me through a little bit, Kimberly. I'm a general dentist. I'm not sure if I want to do implants. I have 5 operatories. I've been a practice for 10 years. Walk me through the process of getting a CBCT with connecting with you. Share me a little bit about your extra topping that you offer the Nacho crew. I know they can text in to get your special pricing, but just walk me through the road to calling up PDS to getting the CBCT.
Sure. I usually start with sending some information over and just kind of educating on how a CBCT can help in a practice. The differences in fields of view, the differences in image quality, and definitely warranty, education, and customer service. When you're looking at a cone beam, you're definitely going to want someone that's going to be able to continue to help you. As staff changes, you might have some image issues, patient positioning issues. You want to be able to speak with someone immediately and kind of figure out what's going on, so you can continue to have great quality scans.
Yeah.
After that, then I start talking to a doctor about what they want to use the cone beam for. And then I suggest a certain model and the reason why. And then we go over pricing, and we go over your extra Nacho deal toppings, which includes a free handheld x-ray.
I love it. Don't gloss over that. You get a free handheld x-ray. So I live in fear of one of the x-ray units on the walls going down. So if you get your CBCT, Kimberly is going to toss in as an extra topping a complimentary handheld x-ray valued at $5,000, which is a great backup to have. Have you seen offices using that both as a backup and actually as their main way of taking x-rays?
My main thing is I just want to help. I just don't want another patient walking into an office and not seeing the full picture of what's going on with them. So I definitely just want to help. If there's a doctor that's worried about pricing and that $1,000 a month payment, I take the time to actually show them how much more they can make with that cone beam.
Yeah, and now I'm going to play the role of the dentist with reasonable questions. So sometimes my dentist people, they ask TSD questions. That's so dentist, too negative. But these are reasonable. Kimberly, I want to get a CBCT, but I don't want to be responsible for determining if there's tumors. What do I do about these scans? How can I have them read? If I take them in my office and I want to be a good dentist and have them read, what services could I use?
Great question. I actually have, as part of the Nacho group, a package right now that includes 8 hours of CE training with the Beam Readers program. They also offer 4 reads for $100, and from there they offer a year's package.
That's awesome.
They are someone that you can pick up the phone and call them on a routine basis. If there's something that you're seeing that you're not sure about, there's plenty of help.
Yeah, connect our team with Beam Readers because I want to know from my office. So the way it works in my office is we know how to look at the CBCT to determine if there's enough bone for implants, but then we send out the scans to be read and get a report back. So it's a great system. We build it into the cost. It's a way to be able to cover the payment for the CBCT, also include some profit along the way. But really, the benefit is that you can do more cases, especially if you're planning for implants, And even if you're not placing all of your own implants, even that many, it allows you to have an enhanced version of patient communication in the office. And if you're worried about learning how to read them, it comes with 8 hours of training to do that. It's not as hard as you think to read a CBCT for dental purposes, endo and implants. But I just want to be total, share authentically. We do send out our scans like to a Beam Readers type place for them to get that back. So people can text CBCT to 55444 to get information on Kimberly. If you want the free CE course from Dr. Lou Graham, text CBCT to 215-543-6454. I love having you as part of the group, Kimberly. What's next for PDS or anything else you'd like to share with our group?
I'm going to continue on cone beams, and then in January, we will start to look at other things to help practices.
Awesome. Well, I encourage you guys.
Shout out to everyone. Let me know what you're looking for, and I'll definitely help with that.
Appreciate all your contributions on the group, for just being yourself too and sharing and mentioning things about the moderators. You're an awesome part of what we do, Kimberly, and we're lucky to have you as a sponsor and friend of Dental Nachos.
Well, I'm excited to be friends with everyone too. Take care and thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So for our business topping special that we've gone over, so far we've talked about the value of doing implants, gone right into how you can use technology to get a CBCT, get awesome nacho pricing, and a bonus topping. These are things, this show is dedicated to helping you develop your dentist core, your mind, how you make decisions, the words, how you communicate, and your clinical skills. They all go together. Being a practice owner also means keeping your team safe. It also means doing the things we have to do to keep our team safe, our patients safe, and ourselves safe. So our next key resource and sponsor, Ken Frucci, is an amazing OSHA trainer, OSHA resource. He's going to come on and share with us updates, because OSHA is always changing. This pandemic has made things quite nacho nuts with masks. So I know while we could talk to Ken for the next 5 hours about this, he is going to share with us some key points. And he has a scary story too he could share about what happens when OSHA goes awry. Welcome, Ken. Before you get started, just share with the audience what you do and how people can reach out to you. I think, Ken, you're still on mute. No worries there.
There we go. Good.
Perfect.
All right, great. Hi, Paul. Hi, everybody. Great to be back with Nachos again. Always a pleasure. Just briefly, we are a nationally approved safety training consulting company that specifically works with the dental industry. We'll basically handle all areas of risk management for OSHA, medical emergencies, including CPR and medical emergency training. And the big topic now, as you just mentioned, Paul, were masks, N95 mask, KN95, the respiratory protection program and fit test is the hot topic right now. And we do want to share a story about a recent client here in New Jersey that just had a COVID exposure in their office. And I'll certainly tell the story. There's not a lot that I can reveal because it's confidential. We've got HIPAA laws and I'm bound by law to not reveal the source. However, we've learned some things from that. We think that'll be great to share with everybody.
I think, Ken, we had connected on some earlier lives. This right now, OSHA training, we have great OSHA resources. And people don't know this, but I'm really into OSHA, into infection control. Let's just say somebody's watching this like they did the last one. They reached out to you and said, hey, Ken, I would like to connect with you. If you want Ken's information, you can text CMET to 55444. Maybe you haven't done OSHA training in a while. Maybe you have a book that has dust. Maybe you want to know about the fit test. But, you had a group reach out to you. What did you do for them? The mass fit tests? Walk me through the process. They reach out to you, Ken, and then what happens?
Well, we have a couple of options. We do have a full compliance program that we have offered where we have a few clients take it. It's a 2-year compliance program, and it's $3,000. They pay it over a 2-month period, split up to payments. That will include office inspections to make sure that there are no additional small OSHA liability issues hanging around. I recently did one for a client and found that they had a broken eye wash in one office, which was an issue. And then their other office that they had in the contract with us never had an eye wash.
Yeah, right. So that you find, I have to say, I've done great OSHA training. You always learn something. that,
Right.
you don't have to cry about it. You don't have to say you're terrible. Just make it a little bit better. If this is a hard thing to do. We don't get training on this in dental school. Then we come out to practice. Sometimes you buy a practice where they say, I used to do it this way. It's not the right way. So those are things. So with this compliance program, which is incredibly reasonable, you can get your team to help offices with a total compliance type program. Is that correct?
We also provide a liability coverage and additional insured services on that would allow us to put that client on our corporate liability as an additional insured, therefore making us liable that if we failed to keep that office in compliant over the 2 years and they had an incident and they received a fine from OSHA, we are now liable by contract terms to assume payment of that fine.
I like that. You put your OSHA money where your mouth is, and that probably makes them feel comfortable. And, it's OSHA for, you're doing this every day. And that's why I say, whether it's a root canal specialist or an OSHA specialist, people who do these specific things every day, rely on them. Now, I know there's people watching, whether it's live now or in the future or on the recording, they're going to say this. What about the mask? Give me a quick mask update. N95, KN95. If someone hasn't done anything, if their office has been shut down, they're going to open tomorrow, Ken, in New Jersey, PA, let's say this area, what should they be doing about the mask fit test?
They need to first evaluate the masks that they purchase. They need to make sure someone comes in, like myself, to fit test that mask, because in this incident that I just mentioned that happened, our first question is, was the employee wearing a mask that fit them properly? Did they not have all the other PPE items which are now recommended? You can't just wear the mask and assume it's going to work. There's other issues involved. So they need to concentrate on that protection for the employer and the employee. Right now, the OSHA mandate, and depending on the state, I know in the state of Pennsylvania, it is mandatory by the Department of Health. It is also the same in New Jersey. So right now, that should be their main focus is, are we comfortable? Can we get a patient that comes in that may be asymptomatic, that passes our pre-screening, they have no temperature, pulse ox is fine, they come in, could they be a carrier? Sure. And we'll never know. We'll never be able to trace that. But if that person is a carrier and they're not properly well protected, we could be looking at a serious liability issue.
And that's why, it's just important to do things the regular right way. Also, one of my things, ABC, always be connecting, and my team can share our other key resource in the sponsor PPE Fusion in the chat. I've connected you with Mark Rubino, and tell me about the mask that they're doing. They're another sponsor of the group. Share with me a little bit about that.
Fantastic mask. To a lot of offices that I go to, they've never heard of the mask. I introduced the BYD N95, and what we're finding is the material that Mark's company makes, it's so comfortable. It's not a bulky, thicker mask that people complain that they couldn't wear or that they can't breathe in. And what it does, it actually allows the flexibility. We're seeing right now anywhere from a 98 to 100% positive fit test on that BYD.
That's awesome. Our team share their link. And I want to just take a moment. This is why I'm doing this show. It's not about OSHA, it's not about CBCTs, it's not about marketing, it's about making good decisions in your dentist in court. If I need nachos to live my life and I'm going to run out of nachos, I want to buy nachos. But what's great about masks and things like that is they don't expire, unless, I don't know, do they expire, Ken?
NIOSH puts a 2-year expiration date on it.
Right. But 2 years, get yourself this year's supply, because I'm sharing this. I hope this prediction does not come true, but I'm very worried that when we have our eye off the ball, when things feel better on earth for dentists, we're going to run out of stuff we need to do our work. And if this is a mask and you don't have it, it doesn't matter if you do implants, you do this, you can't operate. So stock up. I have seen suppliers and other sponsors be very collaborative, saying, buy some from this supplier, buy some from this supplier, because we want you to stay in business. So I appreciate you sharing that about Mark and his company. He's been a great person to work with. So I think what you're doing for our community, Ken, is awesome. You're sharing great resource. You're also sharing fun on the group. Before we jump off, is there anything else you want to share with the community?
We're running a special right now, which we've actually posted in the summer. Actually, it's summer 2020 is the code. So we're offering a 10% discount on any of our services, whether
awesome.
Individual courses, or if they want to do the full 2-year compliance program, it's a 10% discount that's running through the end of September. It might, money is certainly an issue. One thing that we're aware of is that I feel like we're in the same boat as the dentists are. We're all trying to recover money that we've lost from this crazy pandemic. So we have to be flexible, and we have to be willing to work with dentists to help cover their costs. So that might make a difference in them looking, a lot of times they're afraid to spend money, and we understand that. And sometimes you got to spend money to do the right thing because the cost per code could be higher for them.
Totally agree with you. And this is something that's the foundation of what we do. OSHA training, keeping your team safe. Thanks, Ken, for being an awesome sponsor. If you can hang around at the end, we're all going to talk to all the sponsors, ask them what they learned. But thanks for being part of the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. Always a pleasure.
Thanks so much. Okay, before we bring on our next sponsor, I want to say something. So I've been a dentist since 2002. I've been seeing patients since 2000, third year of dental school. Crown prep, 3 hours. Bite rim, 4 hours. You know the dental school thing. Denture visit, 10 visits. Sometimes we just remounted the remount of the remount. So being a dentist has a lot of cool parts, but it also has a lot of annoying parts. We work inside the mouth, and we're supposed to keep everything dry. Not sure if you've noticed, the mouth, super wet, makes you feel like this, okay? Also, we use a lot of small things. You're a dentist for 40 years, 4 years, 4 months, you're worried about dropping them. Dropping something, patient swallowing it, makes you feel like this. I'm in studio with Ariel, socially distanced. She's a hygienist. Sometimes the patient does this thing when they sit in the chair, never stop talking. That's what they do. They think it's their time to tell you their whole life story, even though you have an hour to clean their teeth. So they don't stop talking and you run behind, okay? So keep the mouth dry. That's nice. Don't worry about dropping things. Get the patient to stop talking and work faster. Imagine if there was a thing that did all of those things. And the next sponsor is going to share about what I call one of my best friends forever. I say that with no trace of exaggeration. Xyrus, the Isolite, now partnering with Henry Schein to sell it through Schein. Excited to do this. So Mike can come on screen and share with us what he does to make the lives of dentists less annoying, less stressful, more fun, more money. So Mike, we've talked many times, but just orient our group to what you do and your collaboration with Schein and the Isolite.
First, I'd like to tell my life story.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. It's like a dentist. Yes, please stay. In 4th grade, my teacher's name was Mrs. Smith. She wasn't nice. So yes, thanks.
Yeah. So for those of you guys who don't know who we are, what we used to call Isolite Systems. We changed our name to Xyrus a couple years ago. We're the makers of the Isolite system, the Iso Dry, and the Iso Vac. And as Paul, as you said, it provides suction, retraction, it provides aerosol reduction up to 90% during dental procedures. And what we've done is we've partnered with Henry Schein to make sure that all dentists around the country and North America in general, right, can have access to our system, right? And so we're really proud to be partnering with them.
And Mike, I want to share, because I don't know if this helped with me getting married, but possibly it did. So my awesome wife, Mrs. Nachos, she loves that name. She's a teacher. So when you're a teacher, you have 1 week to get your work done, the week between Christmas and New Year's. That's the only time teachers can do anything in their life. So when we were dating, she came in to get her teeth cleaned. And I don't like doing this as a dentist. Now, some dentists love this, but I do not like when someone's getting their teeth cleaned and they need a filling or this, and you do it the same day. It's not my thing. I'm a systems guy. Some dentists love it. They cram them in. We'll do your filling now. But she needed 2 fillings done, and she was a teacher. So I said, we're going to have to do it now, right? So I was annoyed on the inside. I pretended not to be annoyed on the outside. We're dating. Now we're married. I'm annoyed on the outside all the time. But I brought her in, and I probably was working quickish, getting everything done, not telling her much, saying, hey, we're going to do these now. Not how I would really talk to a normal patient. But I put the Isolite in, did it, right, quickly. And I took it out, and she goes, man, that thing is great. I've always been afraid the dentist was going to cut my tongue. And that was a great way because I didn't even prep her for that. So it's something that enhances the patient experience. So if somebody wants to reach out and learn how to get it through Schein, we have a special text code, text Schein to 55444 to learn more about my best friend, the Isolite. Now, Mike, one of the things, I don't know if you saw my CBCT sponsor, dentists ask a lot of questions. They ask a lot of questions they can perceive as negative. So watch this. Mike, I want to use the Isolite, but it's too expensive for me, right? Even though it's going to make my life better. What is the cost to start putting this in your practice roughly?
Yeah, roughly it's around about $1,900 for the Isolite per chair,
Gotcha.
plus mouthpieces, right? And I think that it's all relative, right? But I think the value that it provides far outweighs that initial expense, right?
Well, that's a nacho brainer. You spend $2,000. Then mouthpieces range what for use the one time? What's their range of cost?
$2.75.
Right. So we have $3, which is makes you work faster. Now we are in this pandemic. It's been quite annoying. Share with us. We are all into right now, suction, less aerosols. What people believe and what people feel about this can be two different things, but we're at a point where creating less aerosols is a popular thing. Isolite helps with that. So what have you seen in your dental offices? Have they been ordering more? Have new customers come in? Are they using it in hygiene?
Oh, all of the above, right? So we've seen a tremendous amount of new customers coming in from the demand to reduce aerosols. And by the way, we've been talking about aerosol reduction as part of the value that their Isolite provides for like 12, 14 years, right?
Just took
but
a few
nobody
for people to notice.
Nobody cared until about 6 months ago about that part of it.
Yeah.
But it does help with the aerosol reduction, and we're hearing from dentists, assistants, and hygienists alike that it has been a huge help for them. They don't see the spatter or the splatter on their masks anymore, right? So it's not like we're just making this up, right? It's a real thing. And so not only have we seen a lot of new customers coming in, we've seen existing customers add more systems to outfit all of their operatories, including hygiene, because they don't have enough money to hire assistants for their hygienists to run an HVE with them, right, when they're doing their SRPs. And so having that Isolite, IsoDry, IsoVac on the chair with them, no matter where they are, has been a huge help for them. And then also, I think we're seeing a lot of traction through Shine. They're seeing a lot of demands there as well.
I mean, describing me as a dentist and how I work with my assistant, I would describe myself as a big giant man baby who needs help with every single thing that I do. So I need the assistant with me at all times. However, during this crazy time with staffing and teamwork, we sometimes need our assistant to go out of the room. So when you have the Isolite, patient can stay open, do it. And just yesterday, so while I was sharing with confidence, I had a patient agree to a great treatment plan, profitable overdenture. Another one of my patients had one of their implant abutments, I don't know if this is a technical term, stuck inside the implant. So I put in the Isolite so that when I was trying to get it unstuck, if it popped out, I at least knew the Isolite was going to act as a dam. So it's so versatile in decreasing annoyance. That should be your motto. We are very versatile in decreasing dentisting annoyance, right?
Decrease annoyance.
Yeah. So I appreciate you coming on here and sharing. I'm so glad that Shine has partnered with you. People can reach out to their Shine reps. I was just talking to them on a show. So I think that's great. Anything else you'd like to share with our Nacho community about the Isolite, Shine, or anything before you jump off, Mike?
Yeah, I just think it's worth trying, right? Think of it like insurance, right? You hope you never need it for when that time you drop that crown or you drop the screw, but when it's there, it's amazing, right? And a lot of customers have been buying the Isolite right now around with the aerosol reduction in mind. But when I talk to them, they're saying, like, I bought it for the aerosol reduction, but I'm finding out that it has so many more benefits, whether it's productivity, safety, you name it. So it's worth trying.
Love that, Mike. And I have to thank you. So ABC, always be connecting. I mentioned this guy a couple times, maybe a few times. His name's Gary V. So he's one of my idols. And I was listening to his podcast, and Mike and Cyrus and the team were there. So he got me connected to be on Tea with Gary V. So since we're on live TV now, Mike, and like 1 million people are watching,
yeah,
take Gary V to be on this show. That's my next ask. So if you could just say, hey, team, Gary V. And maybe he wants to connect with a lot of dentists. So, that's my 2021 hurdle.
Hang on. I'll reach out to him right now.
Yeah. Text Gary V. Well, thanks, Mike. To reach out to Shine and learn about it, text Shine to 55444 to learn more. Really love talking to you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks so much. Perfect. So we now are going through what we've learned here about OSHA, CBCTs, implants, and now the Isolite, my best friend. I do want you guys to get up on it. So if you're thinking, I think the Isolite looks good, but I don't know. I don't know if I spend $3. I want you to get up tomorrow morning, look in the mirror and say, I am worth it. I am worth the Isolite. You will not regret it. It has made our lives so much better. We have multiple dentists working in our office. I've used it Isolate to extract a tooth when I thought the tooth was going to, maybe the patient was going to swallow the tooth. It's going to be something to decrease your annoyance, increase your efficiency, and bring you more production. So the next sponsor guest we have is someone who does something, or their company does something that's super important to me, and especially my brother, Jeff Nacho. He loves that name. And that is systems in your office. How can you get systems in your office so that they can be shared through through our best friend again, through our phone? When new things happen in your office, how do you get them out to the whole team? I'm a medium-aged 43-year-old, so I've gone through when we barely used email, till we use email more, till I sent emails. I never got any response back about them. So Tranual is a system in your office where you can enhance how you communicate with your team, new protocols. I'm excited to have them here. Jonathan, welcome to Talking Nachos. Share with us what you guys do and how you help dentists.
What's happening, Paul? You know, funny enough, you mentioned Tea with Gary Vee. That's how I even heard
thanks.
about you, right? You were on that. I was listening, immediately texted you. Was like, what's up, man? Let's talk.
Another, so my Isolite helped me again. That's awesome. I'm glad you saw it. Thanks so much, Jonathan.
Totally. Yeah, so Tranual, think of it like training manual. It's basically made to replace your 600-page old ops manual at your practice, right? Like, we are the software for dentists documenting their SOPs, needing to train their team. Basically, anything that you want your team to learn is what you put into Tranual, right? So, like, think about this. Picture a scenario. You are, doing a routine cleaning. You've got, a patient in the seat, and you're doing your thing, and then you kind of you see the sky start to darken, right? Maybe your practice is in Tornado Alley, and all of a sudden there's like a Category 4 tornado just barreling down towards your office. Like, what do? Do you tell them to spit and run, or to you not even worry about that? Do they just get out of the chair and go? And I say that jokingly, but that's legitimately a story from one of our clients.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I've been dentisting in those scenarios. That scary story is a real one.
Totally. So those are the things that you need to teach people to learn how to do, whether it's like what to do in case of a tornado, or something like how to attach a lab case to an appointment, or what your appointment times are, or what's the Nomad X-ray process. And then it's more than just the need to knows and the how-tos. It's like ensuring that people actually have understood it and have been certified, right? So you have a new dental associate come on, and you can have them go through Tranual. They get certified at the end with a test that you build, and then great. Time, date, stamped, you can have that documented, that you can hold them accountable for what they need to know to actually do their job the way you need them to do it. So there's no longer that kind of like, oh, you're a dental assistant, you know how to do this, and then they don't do it right, and then you're upset, right? It's like it eliminates that.
Well, I think, John, you're talking about a couple things that just help any organization, whether it's my dental organization or not your organization, because people don't live inside your head. And this might sound silly to someone who's an associate, but as a practice owner like me, I actually go through my day saying, did I say this or did I not say this, right? Did I tell them that the recycling's Tuesday? I don't know, because you have so many thoughts as an owner you have to deal with, and this is how you feel inside. This guy comes out a lot. So Tranual can help you. You can text Train to 55444 to get a demo. Now, we have dentists of all ages and stages, new practice owners, existing practice owners, people trying to scale and own multiple practices. Walk me through. Okay, I text Train to 55444. I get you guys have an awesome complimentary demo out there. What's the process of getting to start to use this in your practice?
Oh yeah, super simple. So it's a free trial, no credit card required. You can just go and get started. You sign up, you create your account, and then from there, it's just a matter of starting to what's the first process you need to get out of your head? How do you get your business out of your brain? Do you want to start with what the new hire needs to know, or do you want to start with your welcome to the company and about the team and our products or our location? You can just decide where you want to start, and then just start documenting that content. And really, it's as easy as a Google Doc, but insanely more powerful for the scalability of your office and how you systemize and how you keep everything together. And then the power too, once you're in your free trial, you will be able to contact with our team, and we're going to do a completely free, it's a $250 consultation and setup. We'll help you start to build content in the system. So you'll be connected with our process pros. And that's the easiest way.
I think it's too good of a JFO. Just find out, text Train to 55444 to get started. But I also want to share, and I have some great sponsors coming up. One who helps with insurance negotiations. My dentist don't like when I say this. I think he could quadruple his prices and it would be just as valuable, right? But what if my dental people don't know, since there's no circulars when I grew up, after this free trial, what is the monthly investment to use Tranual?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a flat monthly fee, like for up to 25 users, 99 bucks a month.
So
Super
what I
cheap.
want to share with you guys is, and I'm starting to sound like a seasoned age instead of medium age. For $100 a month to get your team on the same page, this will make you money in case acceptance. This will make you money in not wanting to cry on the inside when your new hire doesn't know how to greet the patient. One of the things that I want to do, and my brother, I will tag him, we're going to start using this and getting this set up. I'm going to look at it from the patient experience, right? How do we answer the phone, right? That's important. What do we say about our surveys? Right now, don't know if you know, it's pretty cool at dental offices, Jonathan. We have a temperature check bouncer. So you can only get in if your temperature is below a certain amount during the pandemic. So we've changed systems over these 6 months, and that's been incredibly difficult to get out to our seasoned team members because we don't see them as often. So this is a perfect time to lean forward and try this out, whether you're a new practice owner, multiple practices. I mean, I think that's your scary story was perfect, because what do you want? What would you do when this happens? I mean, there was that TV show, I always liked the thing where it's like, what would you do if you're at a restaurant and, the guy next to you started like, I don't know, kicking a puppy? What would you say something? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say something to puppy kicker, but I would. And then the guy comes on at the end and say, this was just an actor. That's what you should do in your office. What do you say when the patient says, why doesn't my insurance cover it? I paid for this already. Is this going to hurt? So I love what you guys are doing. Before we jump off, Jonathan, anything else you want to share with the Nacho verse, encouraging them to get started, or what you guys are doing at Triannual?
No, I mean, we know that it's made a world of difference in, like you said, small offices versus multi-location franchise kind of practices. Like whether you are copying and pasting from one place to another or just growing your team, think of it as like you just said, your FAQ kind of knowledge base combined with the power of a learning, training, systemized thing, right? And so I just let everybody
for $100 a month, 25 users is going to cover the majority of dental offices. And this is a true Nacho brainer. Take advantage of the free trial. I know you love that, Dennis, the free anything. Do that. Very kind of you. Text train to 55444 and then start using this and see how much happier it makes you. Thanks so much for sharing with us, Jonathan. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Good to see you again.
Have a great day. Awesome, guys. So we are moving along here with our awesome Nacho toppings. We're learning so much about how to decrease annoyance, increase patient-centered production, make yourself happier each day. The stuff they should have taught us in dental school, but they were too busy with the Krebs cycle. Brings me to a point. Dr. Mark Costas and I, amazing resource friend, runs the Dental Success Network. We are going to be doing an awesome show on Kindness Day to get invited to watch the show for free, the lecture they should have taught us in dental school, but we were too busy memorizing the Krebs cycle. Text Krebs to 215-543-6454. Text Krebs to 215-543-6454. We'll send you an awesome watching pass. Text place to 215-543-6454 to register for a free implant placement course. So we now have our endodontist of the money world, dental-focused accountants. They call themselves superheroes. They have EBITDA tattooed on their shoulder. Wear a sleeveless shirt next time, guys. So we have Bill Ladd and Jared Duckett, dental-focused accountants, one of the most important people on your team. Dental school does not tell you about this, but your life does. Your dental practice is like you as a person. If it doesn't have enough money, you're going to have problems. Bill and Jared help you realize how money works in your office. Bill and Jared, you guys have been on with us a number of times. It's been awesome. But just quickly reorient. I'll start with you, Jared. What do you guys do on a day-to-day basis to make dentisting lives less annoying and happier?
Yeah, no, Dr. Nacho, appreciate you having us back here. Really what we do is, and Bill says it perfectly, is really jump in with dentists all across their journey and really help them understand the business of dentistry. So if it's maybe a D3, D4 student in school thinking about getting out, buying a practice, maybe it's an existing owner who owns a practice, all different phases of the journey as we like to partner with them, help them understand how business works, the profits or the levers that you can pull in your business to generate profit and just overall make a more successful practice.
I love sharing that. And we have a text code for you guys. Text CPA to 55444 to be connected with you guys. I want to ask you guys this, because I've referred to you as personal trainers. People go to a personal trainer for a variety of reasons. They often go when they're going to get married. So you want to be as thin on your wedding day as possible. So then when you get married, people know love makes you chubby. That's my whole thing. Love adds, you're stuck with love. So what are people coming to you guys for? I like to talk about pain points or opposite, it could be Bill or Jared. What are they coming to you? They're calling you up, texting you, emailing. What are some of these pain points, Bill?
So, I think it's that, hold up the grumble, the grumble guy.
Yeah. This is him.
Yeah, show me that guy first.
There he is.
The kindly annoyed. And first of all, I got to say, Paul, I'm glad you have that, because that's me today. Just got a call that my kid's getting quarantined. So I'm about to be, my slow descent back into madness is getting ready to kick back in. So I'm glad you have that. That speaks to me today. People come in and they have that grumble guy up, and they're frustrated. They're tired. They're burned out. Their backs hurt. Their necks hurt. They're not making any money. They're like, man, why am I even doing this? I might as well just go back and just work, 9 to 5 at, corporate or whatever. I'm not making money. I'm dealing with people. It drives me nuts. And it's just not worth it. And usually we can kind of dive in, look under the hood, figure out where they are in the journey, and see how we can help them try to get it back online.
You guys have talked a lot about mindset as well as we do this. And, I'm a sports fan, and, you've seen coaches take a player that was an all-star and turn him into a superstar. You've seen people who are superstars who've fallen off. I mean, this happens a lot with relief pitchers in baseball and things like that. And your dental career, it's long and it can be amazing, but it also can be very annoying. And it's normal for those things to happen. There are things that happen in your dental career that will be very annoying. But when you have someone on your side that can look at it objectively, Jared, like, what is something, one of the reasons I like to work with people who aren't related to me, who don't live with me, is they can give me an objective opinion, right? I'm paying for them to tell me when I'm being a little nacho nuts. What are some things you've done recently with clients over this pandemic time that they've been able to kind of survive and start to thrive during this?
Yeah, and you said it perfectly, and that's a lot what we have. We have uncomfortable conversations with our clients a lot of times. We ask the tough questions. And like Bill said, when you look underneath the hood, maybe we see something's broken and we're not afraid to ask the question. So, going through the COVID-19 shutdown, if you will, in March and April and May, is we were really preaching, you got to lean up. So as you come out, who knows what production is going to look like. So let's use this opportunity to lean up, really take a look at your overhead, really take a look at your team as the biggest percentage of overhead, and see what truly makes sense. And as you reopen, let's stay lean, because we don't know what's going to happen. And that's the tough thing. No business owner wants to think about, but those are the most important things to think about in order to make your business profitable.
I think it's really appropriate. I've been part of my dad's dental practice for years. And until before I was a dentist, I don't think people realize, and even dentists, that like dental offices don't operate drastically different than pizza places. You make money, you spend the money, you make money, you spend the money. Sometimes you don't make money in 2 weeks and you don't take a paycheck. Sometimes you make more, but sometimes, and I've been guilty of this too, you haven't had a strategy for how you pay yourself. Sometimes it's been as simplistic as like, whatever's left over, I guess I'll pay myself. But, my dad, we had a hurricane once and things like that, but, there hasn't been anything like this pandemic that's really dropped this giant thing in the plate of nachos. And it's made me think differently moving forward about preserving more cash, thinking about things, not necessarily buying a new toy because we have extra money. So Bill, have you guys been sort of, we talk about dental treatment plans. Is part of what you guys do create a treatment plan for your practices?
Yeah, 100%. Everybody's business got stress tested. Their business model got stress tested during COVID. And some of them, it was a really solid one, had a lot of cash. They were pretty lean, and they were stressed, but they weren't, afraid of actually losing their business stress. Yeah. Others, their model was just broken. So that is exactly what we had to do. Then that goes back to Jared's point. We actually shifted from meeting with our clients monthly. We meet with them every week, and we would sit there and we'd look at their cash and we would talk about what's coming up. And we would say, guys, I get it, that's kind of what you want to do. But right now, from our opinion, that's not in the cards. It doesn't make sense, and right now cash in the business is a hell of a lot better than cash in somebody else's business. You need to hold it.
The story, since it's National Guacamole Day, I'm trying to look like Mark Costa's not going well, but this is my portion, right? Sometimes you can't have as big a portion as you want. And that's practice owners. We have this Game of Thrones, king, queens, and castles. Like, if I want to spend it, I will. And we really need to check with people so that we can make our future selves happier, right? That's what we're trying to do. So one of my team members says that, I'm making a decision, Amanda, to make my future self happy. Now, as we wrap up, let's say someone's watching this live, on demand 4 years from now, they're thinking, I want to lean forward. I'm aware of what Bill and Jared do as dental focused accountants. How do they reach out to you? And what's the first process like? It is a phone call, a Zoom meeting. What do you guys do, Jared?
Yeah, great question. I mean, the easiest way to do it is just go to ducketlad.com. At the top right, click work together and fill out the input form. You know, how it initially looks like is we just hop on a Zoom call just to talk through. And again, it's all about where you're at on your journey, you know, and where you're at. Like, let's say this morning we hop on with a dentist who's looking at a practice acquisition. Yeah. Or maybe we hop on a call this afternoon with a dentist who's, like Bill said, working their tails off, but yet at the end of the month, the money's not there. Well, what's wrong? So we just do a diagnosis, if you will, kind of like you guys. Do a diagnosis to see where you guys are at, what are the pain points on just a Zoom call just like this to see exactly how we can help.
And I think it's really, I encourage my dental nacho audience or any dentist to do more of this, because I do complimentary implant consultations. Person come in, I talk with them a little bit. I don't place the implant. We should be doing this with our advisors. And you may be the person who say, you really need to talk to a dental focused attorney like Rob Montgomery right now. Yeah. I mean, patients do this all the time. There's a patient showing up right now in the office of an oral surgeon asking for a crown because they're confused. I mean, that's part of it. Build your team just like we have in specialists. Get them working together. I mean, Dr. Mark Costas, it's his 1,000th episode of his podcast today, amazing guy. And he calls it his board of advisors. You know, create your board of advisors that you check things off with. And, you know, and it's, your spouse isn't necessarily the best one, good or bad. Sometimes they're overly negative on spending money. Sometimes they're like, I don't want to hear what my husband or wife has to say. Do whatever you want. You want to get these objective people in your lives. So I really appreciate you guys being part of the community. Anything you like, guys, like to share before we jump off?
Yeah, I just second what you said. No, doesn't matter where you're at in your dentistry career. Surround yourself by that board of advisors, like you said. So if you're just getting out of college, you know, out of dental school, reach out. We're welcome to have a phone call just to help you out, see where you're at if you have questions. But just really, it's never too early to start forming that board.
Love that. Bill, if I could text you, you know, like some tequila, I would. I don't know if it's a text. But enjoy Thursday. And reach out, guys. Find out. Text CPA to 55444. Have a conversation. It can be one that changes your life in the best way, whether you're a new dentist, medium-age dentist, or someone about to retire. Thanks so much, guys.
You bet.
Appreciate you having us.
As we keep going here with our nacho toppings, before we bring up our next sponsor and key resource, I like to set up with, it's National Guacamole Day, and the head of this company had the guac tasting platter with me at Alvez, Reese Harper. He has one of his awesome team members, Ryan, on with us today. But Bill and Jared just talked about how money works in your office. Now, how about how does money work in your life? Some of you may have $500,000 of debt and think you're never going to have money, and then magically you have money. And you're like, I don't even know what to do with money. I never had money before. Should I put it on Robot Butcher? That's a Seinfeld joke. But Ryan Isaac from Dentist Advisors has been on with me numerous times. We met in person. He's a key resource and sponsor, not sure, a great guy. Ryan, thanks for being here. To orient yourself to the group, just share with us for a minute what you guys do and how you help dentists.
Yeah, what's happening, man? Thanks for having me. We are dentist advisors. So we're personal financial advisors for dentists around the country. That's all we work with. We're a fee-only fiduciary financial advisor for dentists. We've been doing it for about 15 years, and that's all we do, man. Although I will say, it's been a long time, but you have more acronyms than I still even understand.
Yeah, my whole word, I'm just gonna communicate in acronyms. Also, I know I brought this special, you know, I like the gym, so I don't know if you can handle a weight of this size.
That's a little over my pay grade.
1,000 bicep curls in honor of Mark's 1,000 podcast.
Good call.
You guys are dealing with dentists at all ages and stages of their career in a financial advisory role. I asked a little bit for this show about scariest stories, awareest stories, and you could relate it to the pandemic. You could relate it to anything. What are something where a dentist has come to you and been like, and you said, and wish they'd come to you sooner, or had not realized they didn't have a good treatment plan for their money outside the office?
Yeah, first of all, it's such a good analogy. I think all the time I might be one of these patients, just being very self-aware right now.
Yeah.
But people treat, it's human nature. We treat finances like a lot of people treat dentistry. You know, you don't show up to do the routine stuff that we think is like a pain or doesn't matter. And then we only showed up when there's a major problem and lots of pain. You know, so, you know, the previous guest you just had on, Bill and
Jared.
Okay, awesome. I love what they were saying. answer this question, what I think is, I mean, there's lots of scary, crazy money stories out there. Humans are crazy with money in general. That's just human nature. But I think I like what they were saying, and they were relating this to the practice side of things. And I think this is probably the number one biggest, scariest mistake dentists make with their personal finances too, which is just spending a whole career. And, you know, by the way, a whole career in high income, high cash flow, steady cash flow, a lot of moving pieces, but spending that career with just no organization, right? Not having a plan for things. And we call it on our podcast a lot, we call it random acts of finance. And that's what ends up happening when you're busy and you have a lot of money. There's like this false sense of security with high income, that everything's fine because the bank account just keeps receiving money. So everything's like, okay. And I think that's probably like the biggest, scariest problem. That's the most common issue. It's the most common underlying thread in personal financial problems is just spend a long career making random decisions. So for example, it might be, you know, 1 month, the student loans are bugging you. So you just chuck your extra money to student loans. The next month let's finally get let's put the down payment on the cabin. And then the month after that, it's furniture for the cabin. And then the month after that, it's like, let's do the 401k. And so you just kind of like do that, you know, every month randomly for a few decades of a career. And that's not uncommon. And it's just a product of being really busy and successful at the same time and just not having a lot of time. So.
I love that, Ryan. What I like to share, you know, I'm someone, my favorite thing to do, I know people think I do a million things, but you know, I love speaking. I really do. I love it. You know, I love speaking. I've done it for years. I've invested in it. I've, you know, taken training, and the world of speaking has transformed a lot, right? So if someone was a new speaker and they came to me and said, I'm going to spend $10,000 and learn how to speak because I want to go get honorariums, lecturing at study clubs, I say, that's not a good idea. I say, I'd work more on your Zoom speaking. That world has changed. So this is what you need in your life. Someone that is not related to you, someone that you pay to say, do you think this is a good idea? Because those random acts of finances, we do see this with exercise, okay? People get a Nordic track and then they hang clothes on it because they thought it was a good idea. This might happen with some Pelotons over the pandemic. I'm not sure. So what happens is, if you had a personal trainer who say, am I the type of person who should invest $2,500 in a Peloton and pay $50 a month? Some person would say, yes, you're very committed. I can see that's going to help you. Other people will be like, you haven't shown up to our last 5 sessions. How about you do this first? So is this what you're seeing, you know, in the dental journey? And talk about a financial treatment plan for a minute. Also to reach out, they are awesome key resource and sponsor. Just text ADVISE to 55444 and you'll connect with Reese, Ryan, and his team. What's an example of a good decision for a dentist? And maybe a dentist who's 4 or 5 years out of school, they're an associate, they think they want to buy a practice. What would fit into like a good decision in their financial world to prepare to be a practice owner?
Yeah, I mean, that specific example is great because at that point in a career, there's probably nothing more important than nailing what the career is going to be, right? Where are you going to live? What's sustainable? What kind of practice do you don't want to work in? What kind of dentistry you want to do? So the treatment plan for that person would be put your time and your resources, your money into making that decision the most optimal and give yourself the most amount of opportunities, which means be liquid, have cash. You know, making big life decisions is a million times better when we've got money in our bank account so we can have access to. So if you're like, oh, I might move to another city or state, or I might buy a practice, or I'm going to move here and try being an associate for a while, like make those decisions with money in the bank. Don't give up your extra $1,000 or $2,000 that you made that month or saved to the student loan company. Like, just don't do that yet, you know?
And I like to, right? I want to share this value too. Like one of the things that Bart Simpson from our, you know, I think you're younger than me, but you know, he wrote on the board.
I don't know.
I would be like, don't buy house prior to practice.
Yeah, for
why?
sure.
Because lots of houses, not many practices. Here's why. Some is not financial, it's emotional. Once you buy house, you do not want to move from house. When you rent, you're flexible. So I'm a broker and I talk to dentists and say, hey, I have a great practice an hour and a half away. They say, we just bought a house.
Sorry, bought a house. Yeah.
And so it's a financial emotion. So those are the things that you want to run by people before you make this. One more before we go is, what's your guys' podcast? The Dentist Money Show, right?
Yeah, Dentist Money Show.
Let's drop in. You guys have an amazing podcast. We have the dentalamigos.com. Rob Montgomery, my good friend, advisor, and partner, he always says, you know, one of the things that's not intuitive is, watch this. Don't spend all your extra money paying off your loans, because then when you go to buy a practice, you may not be considered a good risk. if you have $5 in the bank, but you don't have loans. And that to me, Ryan, was an eye opener when I learned that from Rob,
Cool.
because you would think, oh, pay down your debt. But if you want to buy a dental practice, you need to have access, like you said, to cash in the bank. So I think that's such an important, good financial decision for someone at that stage.
Totally, man. Totally. And I like what you said. I mean, to wrap it up, I like what you said. The gym analogy lands with me really well. I'm a big, big fitness health person. And it's funny, after the shutdown, my gym closed down. I've been garage gymming it for 6 months. And even as much as I feel like I understand, I'm pretty dedicated to it, I still pay somebody remote. I still pay a coach remotely to tell me what to do every single day, how many seconds to rest between things, and what to do, what not to do, because that's human nature. We need a third party that we're paying in a fair way. Financial industry has a lot of caveats to how you pay people, and you got to pay a fee only fiduciary. That matters a lot, but you pay a third party who's not emotionally attached to your decision making. Yeah. And you're just way more likely to make better decisions and have better outcomes, for sure.
I think that's awesome. I'm going to leave us with, if you have not seen this episode of this comedian, his special, Aren't You Embarrassed by Sebastian Maniscalco, some of the best TV you could ever see. But I'm going to use this example. The reason why you pay a trainer, even though you know what to do, or somebody pays someone to do this, because they don't want to embarrass themselves by saying they didn't do it. So I don't know if that's ego or not ego, but you want to say, I did this thing. I put my money in my 401k. So you don't want to be embarrassed when Reese and his team say, did you save it? And it's such a great human experience, because someone holding you accountable that you're going to be embarrassed if you don't do it is so great.
Huge.
That's why coaches have coaches, trainers have trainers. And what's great about what you guys do is this is accessible to people at reasonable rates. So how can people reach out to you guys, Ryan? What's the best way? We have our text code, but what's the best way to reach out to Dentist Advisors?
Great. Best thing is the website, dentistadvisors.com. You can find the podcast, The Dentist Money Show there, and probably years worth of content. As much as you'd ever want to learn or listen to or watch.
Yeah, I've been on a couple episodes. They're great. So check back after this. I'll be huge in a couple days here, Ryan. So have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome, guys. So great theme there on our toppings of how money works, both in your dental office and your life. Those two are together, how you spend money. One of the things I'll add value is, do you want to have a dental partner? Do you want to work in a group? My dad had a dental partner. I'm only a dentist because my dad was part of a partnership. I loved that aspect of dentists working together. His partnership lasted for 4 decades. It was successful. A lot of dental partnerships don't. Number one reason, just like marriages, how they spend money. Somebody wants to buy a new fancy toy, and the other partner does not want to spend money on that. It becomes a conflict. So if you are going to build a team, maybe own multiple practices, you're going to need other dentists. So getting people like Bill and Jared and Dentist Advisors to help you understand how money works in your dental practice and your personal life is so important. Now, before I bring up this next sponsor, who is my friend and does awesome things in the dentisting world, and I was part of his initial journey, we talked about how the Isolite helps you reduce stress, not drop things. It's a true nacho brainer. So I want to ask you a question. Would you like to make more money for the rest of your life by doing the exact same thing? Would you like to go to your dental office and do full contact arts and crafts, class 2 composites on 14DO, implant impressions on number 30, quite relaxing, dentures, fillings, crowns, cleanings? And would you like to make more money for the rest of your entire dental career by doing just this one thing? Does somebody have that magic wand? And this person does. I would like to introduce you to my friend, key resource and sponsor, Vivek Keener of PPO Profits. Vivek, you can come on the screen. What Vivek does for the dentisting world is too awesome. I'm going to let him share his story, but he has a magic wand to help us. What he charges for this is so unbelievably reasonable. He has worked with numerous nachoers who, I don't know if Vivek knows this, but he knows since we've talked in person. When I recommend something to a dentist, like you should reach out to Vivek, the dentist does not say, cool, I will do it. They say, first, Paul, I would like to ask you 14 questions through text message. I say, you could ask Vivek. They say, no, I prefer to ask you at 11 p.m. And one special nachoer out there from the West Coast, because people don't realize the time there, was doing this. And I said, just do the Vivek thing. If you don't like it, I will take personal responsibility for it. And this person now has had like a 300% return on his experience with Vivek. He's happier and become a big fan. So I wanted Vivek to tell you and reveal, Vivek, what do you do to help dentists make more money for the rest of their life doing the same thing?
Hey, first of all, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're great.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, fee negotiations. So the checks that you get from insurances for the work that you do, just make them bigger. That's about it. And by the way, just before we get into it, I just wanted to let you know it's cool that you have the guys from Trainwell. I use it. PPO Profits is all set up with Trainwell.
Awesome. See, sponsors, collaborators. It's my whole world, Vivek. And one thing, everyone connected on one nacho plate. To learn about Vivek, you text HAPPY to 215-543-6454. Now, Vivek, you're part of what you share with us. For a minute, you make insurance checks bigger. You help us negotiate with insurance companies to be paid more for the same thing. You and I have spent hours talking about this, but in a shorter way, share why this happens. You've been on our podcast, The Dental Amigos. We'll link that there. But in a short version, why does dentist A get less than dentist B? New practice owner. Give us a little background on that.
Yeah, I mean, so there's two reasons why dentist A gets paid less or more than dentist B that might literally be in the same building with different suite numbers. Okay, and I have many clients that, I'm not making this up, where they have a dentist in the exact same building, different tax ID, just right next door, right? Two reasons. Dentist A just accepts whatever, doesn't know that there was a way to negotiate, right? And now they're stuck. And the problem is that once you have joined the network, it's extremely challenging for you to renegotiate.
Right.
Even, you'll do it after 2 years and they'll give you 3 to 5% increase when you're back, right? And the second reason is that what people don't realize is the insurance industry is extremely intertwined. It's called network leasing, sharing, etc. So I'll give you a very good example. People just may not know this, and they'll find out because of some silly thing that just happened on September 1st. Aetna and Principal joined hands, which means if you were in network with Aetna, if you were in network with Principal, okay, and not in network with Aetna, now you will automatically become in network with Aetna, right? But they'll pay you on the principal fees. And this morning, I was speaking to a dentist who said, I have a direct contract with Emeritus, but I'm not getting paid that. And when we looked at that, it's because Emeritus joined Aetna in March. Aetna was the lower fee than Emeritus, and Emeritus simply pays the lower fee schedule. So it hurts the dentist. They get really, really, it's a complex system, which they don't know what's going on. So it's just frustrating. So I just kind of demystify that. And once you recognize that, right, there are some things that you can do where, if you're a new dentist and you're a startup, right, and you are, you want to get a network, you don't join Aetna, Principal, and Emeritus, all three. You basically just join the one that's giving you the best fees, right?
What you're saying, back, I want to pause you for a second. Is that, I know so much about what you do and we've become close friends. What you're sharing is such amazing value that if I was a new dentist, I had no idea this existed back in 2005. Just the process, right? Like you could sign up for something and start getting paid less without even knowing it, right? So this is a real challenge. And this happened in our office where insurance companies, they did not raise their fee. They started paying us less. So that's why connecting with someone like Vivek is so important to ask questions. Tell me, I know dentists love details and you can share I think you should charge 3 times as much, Vivek. I know my dentist will get mad at me. You can share your actual fees or just share what they are. They can text and get them. But tell me about the process. I say, all right, Vivek, I trust the nacho guy. Share with me some stories about nachos that you've done stuff for and how this process works, how long it takes, and a little more about that.
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I will say this, and I think it's really probably important for all the, anybody listening, the millions of viewers, right?
Yeah.
That
5 million at least.
5 million, yep, and 2 million dentists, right?
Yeah.
That even my company, when you and I, when you pushed me to get started full time in this thing, right? Since then, it's again, when I first got started, I thought I knew what I was doing, but maybe I didn't, right? It's one of those things, I forgot what's that paradox called, right? But the more you know, the more you realize you don't know enough, right?
Yes.
And so over the period of, we're now coming up to 22 months or so, right? We have now gotten experience for over 500 clients. We recently had our 500th client start, right, or dentist start, which is, right? So now with experience, we just know the mistakes that we've made that we've been able to correct, getting ahead of some of that stuff, right? So now when I'm speaking to dentists, what I tell them is extremely different and surprising. The process takes 10 to 15 months, right? It's just a very, very long process. Frustrating process because things change in the middle. The insurance companies move the goalpost. And so we're really playing soccer when the goalpost is moving constantly, right? So so one of the, so those are two major, right? But the way to start the process, right? When you get started, we start negotiating the fees. We first build your insurance matrix to see how you are getting paid. Most dentists don't know it, right? They simply, if I talk to a dentist very often in the sales call, I'm like, all right, which insurances are you in network? How are you getting paid? I don't know, right? The front office doesn't know. They send a claim and it gets paid, So, so we first demystify that. And so we call the insurance companies, we get everything from the office and put together what your current system looks like. Then we start negotiating with the insurance companies, direct companies, umbrella companies, shared networks. And then we build a strategy looking at some numbers and saying, well, what if we did this? What if instead of joining principal and emeritus together, why don't we just join principal and become emeritus from principal, et cetera, and you'll get a 20% increase, et cetera, right? We present it to the dentist, and then we explain to them all the risks, et cetera, that can happen, how long it's going to take, how frustrating it's going to be for your front office team, right? Like I always say this, the front office team of the dentist is going to always hate me for the first 15 months, right?
But the personal training thing fits with that. And I know you've also, have done more fitness and better nutrition. It's not easy in the beginning, but it pays off forever. If I can just dentistify this second, and your awesome wife is a dentist, I mean, you're setting your practice up to do better for decades, and you don't realize some of the challenges you're having now. You pay Vivek and his team a flat fee. Now, I'm a big fan of implants. We talk about implants, right? I could tell every patient that an implant lasts forever. I don't. Calm down, dentist. But if I told every patient an implant lasts forever, I'd have to apologize to like 4 patients. And I would just redo it for those 4 patients. So I could tell people implants last forever, end of story, knowing that a few people it's going to go bad. And I'll just give them a refund of this. I don't say it exactly this, but let's use that with your clients, Vivek. People pay you, you do all this work, you present them with a new fee schedule. How many times out of 100 do they not want to accept that fee schedule?
We have done this now for over 500 times, and a total of 0 providers have said.
Yeah. So Vivek presents you with this, and Vivek, you have such a great customer service Nordstrom model. If someone doesn't like it, you'll refund them minus their processing fee. Is that accurate?
That is correct. We refund them minus $600, right? So we present what the plan is. We walk them through the risks, because there's some risks, right? Like you end up dropping some low quality plans here and there, right? And so, if it turns out, when we present them, we tell them this is what's going to happen. It's not going to be pretty. There's going to be some windows where you're not going to like me. Your front desk is going to swear at me, right? Just know that everything that we're doing is for the long-term benefit. The pain that you're going to have for 3 months is going to cause you to succeed for the next 30 years, et cetera, right? And so once they say, yeah, this sounds great, I understand the risk, and we have gotten better at just managing expectations, right? Like I tell everyone doing a deep filling, this is going to turn into a root canal possibly, right? Like,
yeah, perfect. I like that. Great communication.
So now when they go through with it, right, there's good expectations, and then, yeah, total of 0 providers have said, no, this is not good for me, right? In the fee that we charge, and you're right? Like when we put the numbers together, in my view, I also do a lot of stock trading, investing, I've become that retail Robinhood trader that, blows his money on there, right? But I always say this, there is no investment that a dentist can make that in their life will beat this. It's impossible.
Oh, I mean, just pause for a second, because maybe people watch this a decade from now, 10 days from now. What Vivek and his team do is too good, right? We have all these awesome things to make your life less stressful, more successful. But cash flow, as Mark Costa says, oxygen of your practice. You can improve the money you make and invest in your practice forever. And what I do is help dentists sell practices, help other dentists buy practices. And this changing of that practice guard can be a perfect time to make this investment, because you're going to go to work anyway. And Vivek and his team are going to get you paid more to do it. And listen to what he said. 0 out of 500 people did not want Vivek's fee schedule. I'm worried. I mean, Vivek, I'm worried. Is there another one of you? Because if you get too busy, I'm worried. You need to train a clone Vivek to do this. Is that in the works?
Well, we have a good team, right? The good thing is that every single person I've ever hired is still with me, knock on wood. So
that's awesome.
That's been good. And I also tell everyone that because Paul gives my personal responsibility, Paul will refund you the $600.
I'll take it. No problem. You know me, that doesn't bother me 1 second. You can put that on there. I'll be glad to do it, because I know this is the thing. It's been using this theme throughout this thing. It's like the gym and things like that. I'm glad I went. I know I didn't want to go. Now I'm glad I went. So just Vivek, as you wrap up, how can people reach out to you directly? We have Text Happy to 215-543-645 for your own special Nacho community code. And how can people reach out to you to set up that consultation call?
Our website, ppoprofits.com. On the top right, there's a button called Schedule a Consult. We do that. Now, there's one thing that I would say, if I still have a minute or so, Paul.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, generally, I think, Paul, if you know me, if anybody knows me, right, I am not generally, like, I'm not a salesperson, right? My company doesn't work with sales, right? We don't have any emails that go into a drip campaign. We don't send you emails or calls. This happens to me all the time where we talk to a dentist and, and they get started a month later. I'm like, I have no idea who the dentist is, right? Like, a lot of people call me, hey, we talked 2 weeks ago. I'm like, we just don't have a sales system, right? So I don't ever try to say anything to sell something, but I will say this game is getting tougher and tougher.
I can imagine.
Insurance companies post-COVID have become extremely, like, there are companies like Aetna that have just basically said, don't talk to us, right? And so companies like Delta not being able to go premier in many states, the window's actually closing quite a bit. So all factors combined, in my view, right? A lot of people say, hey, should we wait once the whole COVID thing's blowing over? And my genuine viewpoint is do it now, get grandfathered in, because I have no idea, right? Like, I don't know if my company will exist 5 years from now, right?
I appreciate saying that. My director of strategic growth, Brandon, even though he's probably still, recovering from the Eagles' first loss, get your Sam Bradford deal, because Sam Bradford was the last quarterback to get a quarterback deal that was like multi-millions of dollars, and the NFL changed it for the quarterbacks after him forever, no matter how good you are. And that can happen with insurance. So if you're watching this now, just find out about what Vivek and his team do. I'm proud to have you as a friend, Vivek. I'm even more proud to have your wife as a friend. She's better than you anyway. So I'm glad I got you, and you're awesome kids. So appreciate it. If you stick around for a few minutes, we'll bring all the sponsors on at the end and share a little bit. But thanks so much for being on.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. All right, great, guys. So we're just getting more and more fun, happiness. And now we're going to talk to one of my key resources and sponsors. At the second that I saw that this was a thing, I said, why doesn't everybody want to do this thing? So I have a dermatologist in the city and Philadelphia, and she has online scheduling. And the only reason I go yearly to see this dermatologist, who's fantastic, is because I can schedule online. So I said, this would be awesome for patients. And Local Med, our key resource and sponsor, has made this a real thing over the past 2 years. One of my earliest Dental Nacho sponsors. Second that I met them, I said to Tom and Vanessa, before I met Mike, I need to share this with the Nacho audience. It's going to be awesome, and it has. So I want to welcome Mike Sula to the show. He's really out facial hair, the whole group here. Very impressive work, Mike. Share with us what you do and how you help dentists.
Hey, Paul, good to see you. Sporting my Dental Intel shirt, of course, but I got my Superman shirt under there. So if I gotta
that's perfect.
jump into a
like that
telephone booth, I got it. So,
nice.
So Local Med by Dental Intelligence, we created the first real-time, fully integrated online scheduling solution for dentists. A little bit about Dental Intel as well, because the solutions are now integrated together. Dental Intelligence has the #1 software that overlays practice management software and gives the office analytics and more important, actionable data to help grow their practice. The average increase in production is actually over 54% with over 4,000 clients that we have on board. So we very much believe in where performance is measured, performance improves.
Yeah. What you guys have done for our practices, and this was something I used probably before I became a sponsor, just made everything too good. People could schedule their cleanings online, keep up the momentum. People were also weirdly thinking about you at 2 a.m. because they were making appointments at 2 a.m. because maybe that's when a busy mom had time. So they kept up the momentum. Awesome for new patients, makes your office look cool. And the investment in doing this is such a Nacho brainer. I mean, Mike, we always have an awesome deal with the Nacho. You have Nacho TLC service. I always say, Mike will do the demo in haiku, and we'll give you a deal. You can text local to 55444 to find out more about them. But Mike, what is an office generally investing monthly to utilize Local Med for online scheduling?
Sure. What you're looking at is a $249 per month monthly fee. We have some other options that can actually bring that cost down based on if you take a year agreement or even pay up front, that can get that down to around $200 a month. I mean, our average return on investment for clients that are on board, we're averaging up 44 to 1 ROI with over
Pause for a
12,000
minute because
dental
I want to share
providers.
something. So Mike met me in person. I tend to be pretty enthusiastic. I'm a pretty positive person. I work with my great brother. He has different personality types. So I brought many things to the office. He says, this is Paul's, nacho idea, blah, blah. So he said two things. One, he said that our dental nacho t-shirts were awesome. And he's a big t-shirt snob. So that's number one, the t-shirts. Number two, he did text me last week and say, use this on nachos. We had a person cancel hygiene, and it was filled that morning by Local Med, which was well over the $249. So I just want to pause and say, for $3,000 a year, you have someone work in your office that works 24/7, doesn't complain, eat any of the pizza at the office, just works and works and works. It's a scalable system that brings in more revenue, decreases your team stress, and the over the 100 dental nacho offices that have joined Local Med through Nachos, they love using it. But what I want to bring up next, Mike, is what have you seen pandemic related that people can use this combination of Local Med and dental intelligence to really enhance this last quarter of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Because most dental offices were closed in the spring, so we're talking March, April, May timeframe, hygiene didn't occur, so they couldn't reappoint them in the fall, September, October, November. So dental intelligence, we're looking at statistics all day long, and we're seeing that most schedules that are filled at about 80% are only filled about 15 to 20% starting here in the fall. So that's a huge, huge problem. I don't know if individuals are looking at that. A lot of times dentists are so nose against the grindstone that they're not looking at future months. But one huge thing that we've put in place, kind of like a scary story now that we're approaching Halloween, is imagine you had about 300 patients that you had to book back in to fill your fall hygiene. And you sent a text blast out via your patient communication company, whether it's Solution Reach, Weave. But imagine all 300 of those patients say, yes, I want an appointment. And your front desk person comes in Monday to 300 patients that need callbacks to get them booked in. So that's a very scary situation to be a front desk manager.
It's also not a super fun job. We just did this with the combination of Solution Reach and Local Med, and like 24 people just schedule an appointment immediately. It's great. I mean, what I share with enthusiasm, yes, Local Med's a sponsor. Yes, they buy me free puppies, all that stuff. It's for you guys to make more money, be happier, and enjoy what you do. And most of all, decrease your team stress. I mean, we have an option now to automate one of the most annoying jobs and then get our patients to keep up the momentum with their cleanings so that you can do other work in them. We also use it for emergencies, and there's so many ways to use it. I eventually, Mike, I mean, I'm sort of a new idea guy. Like when we started texting with Solution Reach, my team said, everybody wants to hear my voice. Now Solution Reach goes down one day, the whole team freaks out, right? Because we have 53 appointments, and whether you use Solution Reach or Modento or those things, they're going to confirm your appointments for you. So nobody wants to go back. I believe we're going to get to a point where the only way to schedule an appointment is Local Med. That's the only way to schedule like a cleaning, maybe even get in fillings. If you do implants, it might be customized, because then you're able to give the patient optimal convenience to allow them to schedule when they want. So, I mean, whether this is a pandemic related thing to get started, whether you've been thinking about this for a while, I say with full confidence, it's something that you're going to love because it, as we recap, increases production, decreases stress, helps patients, makes you happier. I appreciate you sharing, Mike. Before we jump off, any other Local Med or dental and intel things you want to share?
I got one last thing I'm going to share because I know you love implants, Dr. Paul. So I'm going to go through, there's a feature called Patient Finder that's in Dental Intelligence Growth Platform, and it actually can find anyone that you have unscheduled treatment with. So if you found a good dental implant candidate that maybe didn't come into your office and doesn't have a future appointment, we can actually have a customized list of those people that it's generated. It's automatically pulled, it's updated every single night, and you could go right through and hit text those top 15 patients, sends out an exact appointment link that they can click right in that text message and book exactly in for that dental implant treatment that you're trying to get them in for.
And that,
I mean, that's game changer.
That is the true queso on the guac on top of top shelf margarita, because you bring in profitable procedures like that. And people, I mean, I always think of what goes right. I know dentists, not exactly my way, but most people are happy you have kindly annoyed them to do something that helps them. Rotate their tires, go in for an exam, do their implant. Yes, some people will be annoyed. Just say, okay, call us later. But when you get those magical people that come in and do it, that's the reason why we do dentistry. So I think that's an awesome feature. Text local to 55444 to find out more about what they do. Check out my numerous Dental Nacho posts that Mike chimes in on in a fun and funny way about how this has helped them. Mike, you can stay on for a minute. Any sponsors are still with us. We're going to do a little wrap up here at the end. This has been an awesome, fun session. We've given out tons of prizes. Mike, if you have any clients they want to learn how to place implants and get started, we have text place to 215-543-6454. Any sponsors are still here. If it's just Mike and I, we can keep chatting. I got Mike Wong back. Perfect. Another Mike. It's the Mikes. They're on top of things. Ryan, awesome. He's got look at that. He's got an energy drink back on here. So what I wanted to do in the Always Be Connecting way, because one of our OSHA sponsors met with one of our mass sponsors, Sponsor Connections. I'm just curious. I can start with Mike Wong. What did you hear over this, business topping special, sponsor showcase spectacular, that if you were a dentist or just something interesting, what's something that you learned throughout this show?
Well, what's interesting to me is like how much or how little finance stuff is taught to dentists.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, like, if you think about it, like, they're really small business owners, right? They're not just going to work at some big corporation. Maybe some are, right? But I think most of the dentists that I've come across in my career and that we talk to on a daily basis at Isolite and Xyrus, they're small business owners. And so it's refreshing to me to see all these other companies out there that are providing amazing services to help people run their businesses better, right? Because I think if that is something they're not worried about, they can focus on the patient better.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a great point, Mike, and I want to just share is that it really should be, people know my thoughts on dental school, and while I try to be nice, I also try to be real. People are signing up to take out $500,000, and they're not giving them the training to take care of that career. It's like a little bit like this experience I had once in my life where we had a baby and we went into the hospital as 2 people and we left as 3 people. They gave us 0 training. They just said, get on out of here. But everybody comes over to watch your baby and help you. Nobody comes and watches your 4-operatory practice and wants to tell you how your profit works. So I think that's super important, and more of this should be infused into our earlier training and practice. Love that, Mike. Ryan, how about you?
I need a better mustache,
Yeah.
like immediately. That's what I started thinking about.
Mustache envy from Mike Sewell. It is pretty majestic.
Hey, that's what I learned during COVID. All these people are reading 5 books, getting all these life skills.
Hair.
I was like, I grew a mustache that my wife hates.
Yeah, my wife, that's exactly the reason. I've done it and my wife hates it, so it doesn't exist. Yeah, I'm always, I think kind of along the same lines, I'm always amazed at just how many moving pieces there are for a dentist to just run a successful business in life. There's just so many things, and there's no way you can be an expert at all this stuff. Not even close. And the math is, the math tells us that the most efficient, profitable thing a dentist could ever do is just be a good dentist, right? Run a good business and get everything else off your plate that you just aren't an expert at or don't have the time for. But it's a lot, man. It's really overwhelming.
I know he's going to get me when we have our recap at the end. I know my strategic growth director is going to, but like Carson Wentz, like he has the offensive coach, he has the head coach, he has the quarterback coach, and they're all helping him quarterback. And he's at the top of his game, and it still doesn't always go well. So one of the things that I want to share with dentists, because we work in caves, is that sometimes dentists, their self-esteem is brought down by they think, I can't believe I threw a business interception. I say, it's normal to do that. If you saw your other dentist, if we ever spoke to each other and they didn't create the dental student Hunger Games, you would see them throwing interceptions. It's the opposite of parenting, where we bond over your kid didn't sleep, mine didn't either. I've been drinking wine all night. Me too, right? Somehow we bond over that. And in dentistry, we have this old school, terrible system of don't share when you throw an interception. It's against you. So we should do more of that, because then you say, oh, this is normal. So I love that, Ryan. Ken, how about you? Yeah, I think I'd unmute yourself. You're unmuted, but I don't think we can hear you yet. I'll let Man help him. While he's unmuting, I'll let Mike go.
All right. Paul, I love, more than anything, I love the JFO, the Just Find Out, because I believe it's a fun acronym, but it's it's more of like a way of life, because if you think that you've learned everything in your life at any point in it, where I've known all the world of knowledge that exists in this, it's a very dangerous place to be, because then you're not open to learning new things or finding better, efficient ways to do it. So if you just apply that JFO mindset to everything of just find out, let's see what else we can learn. You're giving little hacks that is going to improve small little bits or large little bits of practices, and helping them just to serve more of their patients and have a better life.
I love that message. And, you know, it's with a Gary V type of, I've listened to so much of his stuff he's just so willing to be wrong a lot. I mean, I always say I have the highest self-esteem. I have like the highest self-esteem because I don't care if people think I'm an idiot, a toddler. I don't know. I know it's not me, right? But dental school, unfortunately, does not create that. And it's sad because we should be in a career that's creative and fun. And we're afraid to say what I do, if I do a crown, it doesn't work out. I'm not that crown, but dental school makes you feel this way. And it's what I'm trying to really change, because I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to walk it back. Of course, mitigate your risks, and the JFO part is just find out more about what people do who can make your life better. So I like that. Ken, are we okay with your sound yet?
I think so. Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Yep, cool.
Yeah, I'm still learning the technology, trying to get those Apple headphones and thousands of dollars I spend on tech equipment and still can't figure out how it works.
I've never had that experience. Everything I've ever turned on in this headquarters has gone totally perfect. I've never been muted when I shouldn't be muted. I never want to take my computer and throw it in the road. I cannot understand what you're talking about, Ken. So yeah, what did you learn, Ken?
I'm curious if you have a Harley to go with that mustache, because it's really cool.
I'll ask my wife for that. I don't right now.
I really found when I got on, I forget the young lady's name that had the tumor.
Yeah, Kimberly from the CBC.
Kimberly, she was talking about that new X-ray. Was it an X-ray device she was talking about?
Yeah, it's a three-dimensional X-ray.
Yeah, I found it really interesting because hearing her story, thinking about how many patients can get misdiagnosed, both with medical and dental. And sometimes it's an issue of spending money that maybe, in that case, maybe the doctor didn't feel he needed that advanced piece of equipment. And sometimes people are more money focused about every penny per se. I mean, I have clients that if they could take a penny and split it in half to save a half a cent, they would. So I found that interesting, her story, because I kind of wanted to share our story that we had with that dental client that had that COVID exposure, because that's what it comes down to, is tragedies happen when the proper expenses or proper equipment or even the proper education's not given to that dentist to help her.
It's an important point, and sometimes whether it's, dentisting cheapness or not being aware, these things happen. One of my closest friends from dental school had the most amazing dad, amazing entrepreneur. Before it was Gary Vee popular, he'd done amazing things, and he parked his car in New York City on the street, and he got towed. And his dad said, "Why did you not park in a lot? You're going to a fancy club. You're spending $200. He goes, "I want to save money." He goes, "That's penny wise, dollar foolish." And dentisting, penny wise, dollar foolish, happens all the time, and you regret it. And, I'm going to wrap up, I think actually to wrap up this segment, maybe we'll be looking at this a decade from now with Vivek. Vivek is someone who, I didn't get a chance to say. Vivek, before PPO Profits, and maybe you do some of it now, who do you live with and work with? I think you're muted.
Yeah, I wasn't the only one.
Yeah, they say shared muting experience. Yeah, Vivek, tell us who you live and work with.
Who I live and work with?
Well, I mean, your other half. What is that person?
My wife's a dentist.
She's a dentist now, but before you go, Vivek, because before you go on, so when we were on Dental Nachos, and I always appreciated Vivek's intelligence and writing, we had some minor friction because I would say it's very challenging to be a dentist and stressful. And Vivek would say, well, you make 150 grand a year. People would love to make 150 grand a year. But then Vivek was an office manager with his wife. So this show is about decreasing stress, Vivek. How has some of this modified over your time of being with your wife?
Oh yeah, I mean, I used to always make this thing, hey, come on guys, you work 32 hours a week, right? And here it's me, I was a computer engineer, I was a VP of mobile application development, right? And it's a lot of stress, a lot of deadlines, running a big team of like 50 people, etc., right? And I'm like, you don't know how others have it, right? And then one of the things I think Paul you said, which totally makes sense to me now, one dentisting hours is not the same as like one regular hour.
Yes, dog year hours. It's dog year hours.
Once
Yes.
I started working at a dental office, I'm like, oh man, after like 8 hours, I'm like, I'm beat. I'm like, wait, I've only done an 8-hour day today.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dad, you know, it's like so many things happening. So yeah, for sure, you know, you guys, you know, dentists, just it's a very, very tough job. In my view, right, like it's so like finicky and so precise. Like I don't know if any other career is like that. I really don't.
Not anything that you do on, and Mike Totola said this, not anything you do on people awake all the time, right? Not anything you do where the expectations of the patient is sometimes, no matter how hard you try, is mismanaged. What's something you had learned, Vivek, from the sponsor showcase that you might be able to take back to your office, or just something interesting from one of the other key resources?
Well, no, I mean, you know, first of all, the just like hearing everyone, right, just speak, it's one of the things, right, like that everyone has a service that comes at an expense, but like everyone, right, most people, what they think of as an expense is a guaranteed cost, right, which is true, right? Like if you buy something, the cost is guaranteed, the return is not, right? But it is a bit of a change in mentality that you just gotta have to become like more of a top line person, right? And so and I'm just looking at everything, right? And I know a few of you guys already, right? Like we use Dental Intel, right? I've talked to Ryan many times, etc. Right? Everything is an expense, but if you just become a top line person, ultimately it all boils down to how is this going to, you know, help me? And whether it's like increasing top line or reducing stress or both, you know, a lot of times it's just worth it, etc. So
It's a great theme, Vic, because we talk about this for my dad bod and also our company. You know, it's exercise and diet, right? It's exercise and what you eat, and you can do both. Reduce overhead, increase production, and also really just like, you know, keep yourself in shape to go the dentisting long time. I think, you know, one thing that I'll share as we wrap up, and you'll see when you talk to a dentist less than 5 years out of dental school, I don't think they know the wear and tear on your emotions, your back, your spirit, your mind as you're 15 years into it. And, you know, just like maybe a running back in the NFL, or I know Moses Malone, I love this story. Moses Malone told Charles Barkley, you got to stop eating like this. You got to stop acting like this. And because he told him that, he became one of the 50th best players of all time. I don't think if he met Moses Malone, he would be like that, because he was somebody who didn't take care of himself and do things like that. And I think the message fits with dentistry. So really appreciate what you guys have done. Thanks so much. Feel free to share more in the chat. We'll do more of these, but proud to have you guys as friends, key resources, and sponsors. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Paul.
take care.
Thanks,
Paul.
guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Paul.
Awesome, guys. Well, we are going to wrap up our awesome show. We have a couple last free prizes. Text PLACE to 215-543-6454 to register for our free dental implant CE course. And I'm super excited. We're going to have these routinely. Our patient communication and implant course, text CHIPS to 215-543-6454, and we'll send you a nacho discount to that. If you watch this live, you're in Zoom, we're going to give you a free $150 CE gift card to get one of our 2 amazing courses. Thanks for hanging in with us. Really appreciate it. What we do at Dental Nachos, help you be a happier dentisting human, by increasing production, decreasing stress, and most of all, reducing the number of times you feel like crying inside a day. Have a great day, guys.